to make an amendment to one of these resolutions. Yeah, I left it blank.
Are we good?
We are.
Let's call the meeting to order and start with our flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Law. This meeting of June the 11th, 2019 was included in a meeting notice sent to the Burlington County Times and Courier Post on January 4th, 2019, and advertised in said newspapers on January 6th, 2019, and January 7th, 2019, respectively, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building on January 7th, 2019, has remained continuously posted as required under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bashaki,
Here.
Mrs. Gilmore,
Here.
Ms. Schneider, Mr. Costa,
Yes, here.
Mr. Klaus.
Here.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of our regular meeting of May 14th?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Klaus,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore,
Yes.
Mr. Costa,
Yes.
Mayor Bashaki.
Yes. We have 5 reports: our tax collector, code enforcement, fire official, construction, and emergency service reports, all for May of 2019. Is there a motion to accept the reports?
So moved. Second?
Mr. Costa,
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore,
Yes.
Mr. Klaus,
Yes.
Mayor Bashaki.
Yes. And that takes us to our first public participation session for tonight. Is there anybody from the public want to make a comment about agenda items only? And I see a hand. Kitty.
Catherine McNellis, 407 Bischoff Avenue. I just want to make a comment about this K resolution 2019-106-6, authorizing and directing land use board to cause a preliminary investigation to be made pursuant to the New Jersey Local Development Housing Law. I'm a little surprised they have to do that because they already have the signs up that you have redevelopment zones all over the place. And I wonder if anybody on that planning board ever really looks at Hainesport, because we are less than 7 square miles in size. A third of that, 1/3 of that, is parks and recreation. So I would say that would be maybe 2.3 square miles of parks and recreation. Then you look at how many houses we have, and you're talking about maybe 2 square miles of houses. So you might have a mile and maybe 0.2 or something like that left for commercial. And for some reason, Hainesport seems to think that every inch of property has to have something on it. And if you can't get commercial, you put houses on it. For instance, 20 houses on 7 acres in Bancroft. You had 2 different, well, at least one I know came in to put strip stores in there. They were turned down because of the water, the drainage issue. And so that never happened. So then it was going to be 38 townhouses. Thank God that never happened. Now, I hope 28 houses don't happen. We have so many houses and so many kids, and so much has to be done, and we have nothing left for us to get any tax help with. All our commercial property is either already been turned into houses, like the half a mile by 500 feet that became townhouses when Creekview came in. And, you know, there's just so much commercial left, and we really need to save it for commercial businesses, not townhouses or single-family homes or anything like that.
I have to interrupt you though, because the developments you're talking about were approved long before this committee took office, anyone in this committee took office. The project that you're referring to with the 20 properties that was formerly 38 townhouses, again, was a project approved long before any of us committee members became members of the committee.
No,
They were
that
already
wasn't that
on the
long
books.
ago.
Oh, yes, they were. They were already in the works. And we picked up the ball where previous committees left off in at least reducing the number of houses from 38 to 20. But the residential component of it was already decided.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, I understand your concern, but
That was decided by a court case, from what I understand. 38 was.
But I'm talking about now, you have all this property, Vivicchio's property at Fostertown Road, Route 38. They're going to make that a redevelopment zone, and they can put God knows what on that instead of commercial. I mean, they could put commercial, but you have all these builders that want to come in and they want to build anywhere they can get a square inch of ground. And apparently, we just go along with it instead of saying, no, we have to save that for commercial.
If I may, Mr. Mayor?
sure.
We had,
Kenny, if I could address your questions. I think we all agree with you that we need to preserve commercial lands. This decision was actually made about 25 years ago when they allowed the Quaker Group to build houses up and down that area you're talking about.
no,
Remember the Quaker Group?
not 25. They were putting businesses in there, not like 10, 12 years ago.
Well, about 25 years ago, I was there, you were there too. What happened was the Quaker Group received a zoning use change. They changed it from commercial to residential.
Yeah,
They were
okay,
going to put up low-income housing.
right.
Remember, we formed a homeowners group and we
Townhouses.
made a
there.
deal to convert the low-income housing to townhouses. But nevertheless,
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that now, Ted. I'm talking about what we still have left.
Yeah,
We have to preserve what we have left.
I agree.
That's already gone.
These days, though, in that
For
area,
instance, when
not much-
Mr. Gus Diamandis decided that he didn't want to have office commercial behind him, he wanted to put in senior citizens. And they agreed to it,
Well, the good
instead
news
of
about-
keeping that.
The good news about that is that they have no school children, and it's still a tax rateable. And studies have shown that senior citizens' housing is a good tax rateable, even compared to, say, warehousing or other commercial rateables. It's not bad in that situation. And you know why also? Because that was off the beaten path. You really couldn't see it. So commercial enterprises were reluctant to locate in an area that could not be seen. It's behind the diner and not as good an area to locate.
Yeah, but you
We
just
supposed
put a
to talk
sign on the corner, and you know it's
I
there.
mean,
But
You've
what's
got some
on the
good concerns,
agenda
though.
is commercial property.
Yeah, anyway, I just wish you would really think about trying to save. I mean, we took Creek Turn Pottery.
but the property in question, we're talking, again, the comments have to be limited to what's on the agenda, and you...
Well, that's on the agenda about the development.
Yeah, but you're talking about things that are not on the agenda, indirectly connecting it to item K under the resolution section of the...
Well, on the agenda
And
is that
one-
about
That's
trying to
not-
save them.
But that piece of land that you're referring to in that resolution is in fact ultimately intended for commercial use. Where does it say in there that it's not commercial?
I'm saying that the way, when you have a redevelopment zone like you're doing, if somebody comes in and wants to put homes on it, you're going to say, oh, well, we've made it a redevelopment zone, we have to do it because we said.
Again, that's not an agenda issue. You're talking about a general policy that's beyond what's the scope of what's on the agenda. That's not an agenda issue.
Directing the land use board about the cause for investigation into redevelopment of housing law?
Where does that say that that's intended for commercial use? They're not going to be used for commercial use.
Is it because the property that you're talking about is commercial?
Local redevelopment and housing. Local redevelopment can mean anything, commercial or residential. And housing is a separate component of that.
All right, whatever. Thank you. I don't know why I even bothered.
Anyone else with an agenda item question? Louis?
Council and committee, Louis Lopez, 98 Level 5, Mount Holly. Letter F and L, can you clarify? Agenda item, ordinance under resolution
Which one?
F and L,
Okay.
can you clarify more?
Resolution F.
Yeah,
And L?
and L.
and
What about it?
What's your question?
Oh, no, can you clarify more?
Well, Resolution F, a fireman's going to approve into the state's Firemen's Association. One of our firemen applied to be approved, and he will be. And L, self-explanatory, we're accepting a grant from the Hazardous Discharge Site Remediation Fund entity.
Take care.
And,
Right.
I'm just curious about your ordinance 2019-4, the first one. That $5,000 for the year or for the month?
It's for the year. It's for the year. For the compensate, it's for the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I got another comment and a public question. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Anyone else? Okay, not seeing any hands. That takes us to ordinances. We have ordinance 2019-4 to provide for and determine the rate of compensation of officials and employees of the Township of Hainesport. This is for public hearing and final adoption. Are any comments about ordinance 2019-4? Not seeing any comments from the committee. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 2019-4?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Ordinance 2019-5, amending the construction code. This is our first reading and introduction with the public hearing and final adoption on July 9th of 2019. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. We need a motion to amend the agenda to include two additional resolutions. They would be 2019-109-6 and 2019-110-6.
So moved.
I'll second.
Lee made the motion and Jerry seconded it.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Okay. Getting to resolutions. Resolution 2019-96-6, authorizing a lien for property maintenance expenses for property located at 1203 Washington Street. Is there a motion?
Yes. So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-97-6, to authorize renewal of liquor licenses. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
I have to abstain. Abstain.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-98-6, higher summer recreation help. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-99-6, confirming employment for seasonal public work employees.
If I may interject at this
Yeah.
point, I had left the employee hires blank because I did not conduct the interviews until after the agenda was prepared. I am prepared this evening to request the hiring of Clifford Allison III, and I would like to request, I am still conducting interviews. If you would consider allowing me to make the second hire and retroactively approve that at the next meeting, or allow me to call you individually and ask for your permission. Just because we don't want to hold up the hiring until the July meeting.
It's fine with me.
That's
So
fine.
moved.
So moved.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Costa?
Yes.
And,
Who's seconded? Anybody second that?
I'll second.
Jerry did.
okay, Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
You're right.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-100-6, acknowledging budgetary commitment for volunteer firefighting services. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
This is the volunteer firefighting services?
Yeah.
No, this is the $90,000.
Say that again?
This is the $90,000.
Which resolution?
It's E, resolution E.
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-101-6, approve a fireman into the New Jersey State Firemen's Association. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-102-6, authorizing the award of a lease contract for our copy machines. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-103-6, authorizing execution of the developer's escrow agreement. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yeah, I gotta vote no on this one. This developer, I know what he wants. He wants us to give him $500,000 from our trust fund for COA funds.
Listen, Ted, it's either a yes or no. It's not,
And I gotta vote no.
Do you know what this is for, Ted? Did you read it?
Yeah, this is Blue Water property.
Right.
And what we're doing is taking commercial
just-
land.
Wait.
Save it for
And having-
comment now.
this
Bill-
discussion is not appropriate. Let's
No.
stick to the agenda. It's either a yes or no vote.
This is for industrial.
Ms. Schneider, did I ask you?
I
No, you didn't.
don't remember.
No.
I don't think you did.
You didn't. No, you didn't.
I'm asking you now.
Yes.
Okay. Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-104-6, authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding with the American Red Cross. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yeah.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-105-6, authorizing contracts for the change in the payroll plan. Is there a motion?
So move.
I'll second that.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-106-6, authorizing and directing the Joint Land Use Board to cause a preliminary investigation to be made pursuant to the New Jersey Local Redevelopment and Housing Law as to whether certain properties within the Township of Hainesport qualify as a non-condemnation redevelopment area in accordance with the criteria set forth in the state statute. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
For clarification, is this property the Paparone development along Route 38? Is this the other one?
There's a map behind the resolution that identifies the property.
Okay, I have the resolution.
It's behind Resolution 106-6. It's the third page after the vote block.
Okay. All right, this is the one behind Route 38, right? Okay. Okay, I understand now. Thank you. And I'm going to vote in favor of the resolution.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-107-6, accepting a grant from the Hazardous Discharge Site Remediation Fund Public Entity Program through the New Jersey Economic Development Authority and the Department of Environmental Protection. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-108-6, authorizing a lien for property maintenance expenses for a property located at 15 Bancroft Lane. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. I defer.
Did you second?
I defer to Jerry.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Resolution 2019-109-6, a resolution to amend the adopted budget for additional items of revenue and offsetting appropriation pursuant to Chapter 159. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
I've lost you.
E. I apologize, Sharon, we added these two to the agenda,
Oh,
so you need new vote. I can,
In and no.
Do you need the number again?
yes, please.
The number is Resolution 2019-109-6.
And, I'm sorry, Mrs. Gilmore?
That's in Jerry.
Jerry.
Okay, Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. And the last resolution is Resolution 2019-110-6, resolution to amend the adopted budget for additional items of revenue and offsetting appropriation, again pursuant to 159. What's the difference between 9 and...
so the first one is, 109, is for the 2019 Clean Communities Grant at $15,416. And the second one, Resolution 110-6, is for $250,000 for Bancroft Drive,
Okay.
accepting those grants.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yeah. Well, you need a second.
I'm sorry.
Second.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. That takes us to our second public participation session, where it's open season, but again, we are limited to the 5-minute rule. Kitty, now you can say whatever you want to say. You can sing all the mud you want.
Catherine McNally, 407 Bishop Avenue. I said as much as I could on that. You're not going to pay much attention anyway, so. But,
Just trying to keep order. No, you can talk all you want. I just want to make sure we...
well, it's just, every time, like I started to say about the Creek Turn Pottery, they turned that into a park, and we might get 3 acres commercial out of it. That's 28 acres gone in the wind that would have been commercial. If you have to really look at what we have left before you start giving anything to houses, that's all I'm asking.
Okay. Well, we do some feasibility studies from time to time that help direct us as to which way to go with various pieces of land. So we just don't willy-nilly say, hey, how about a park over here, or how about this? We try to rely on the information that we get when we have the studies done. But you're right, we need more business property.
All we ever heard out of the Glass Group was that they were going to have an economic committee. I don't remember them ever having one. We need an economic committee. We need somebody to go out there and look for businesses. They just put something down there in Mount Laurel that it's a gas station. I think it's my turn.
I'm sorry, I was asking, who said that about suggested the economic committee?
Committee, yeah.
Who?
The township.
Yeah, which year was it? I'm confused because I was up here last year and
The last group that, before you guys all got on.
Yeah, she was referring to the prior.
And they said they were having one, that's the
Clarified.
thing, but they apparently, I don't know. All I know is this thing just went in down in Mount Laurel. It's a gas station, and they sell food. I went down there and I pulled in. You may as well forget it if you want to buy food. You were going to 45-minute wait. I mean, this place just opened and they're so busy. We should have been looking for something like that here. That would have been a big seller here in Hainesport. We need a steakhouse. We need a place where you could go out to dinner without having to go to Cherry Hill or wherever.
That's all true, but you gotta understand too, that if the property owners that own these parcels may or may not be willing to sell to certain people too. I mean,
Right.
so we're kind of,
But at least you could be looking to
Right.
see if we could find something like that. And I was wondering if I could find out who has the liquor license in Hainesport? I know the businesses have them, but I'm talking about the extra ones that aren't being used right now. There's one.
There's
okay.
one pocket license.
And who owns that?
That's, hold on, I just escaped.
Stevenson?
Yes, it's under, the formal name is Rancocas Lakeside LLC, and that's in pocket, and it's,
That's definitely Stevenson. Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Anyone else? Is that a hand?
Yeah.
All right.
The communities, I want to say thanks to Lee, wonderful, a video of Flag Days, and that's in 3 days. It's a nice video we saw in the 7-inch TV. It's great, I shared it. I want to say it's a good video, and I like that presentation. And the Hainesport is going to have like a movie night. Does it have that project or that program? You do, when?
I don't have the dates off the top of my head, but we grew the program. We're adding a second movie this year. So last year was just one movie, and there'll be two.
Isn't it like August?
August and September, Fridays? I think they're a Friday in August and a Friday in September. I'm sorry, I don't have the exact dates.
And one was last comment for the Starbucks. That's all the permits approved, everything, good standards. That's in Hainesport, right?
No,
No.
that's Lumberton,
I thought that side's in Hainesport, right?
not
No.
that corner.
No, that corner? Oh. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.
Anyone else? Not seeing any hands, we'll move on to comments from our administrator.
Right, thank you. Several items. Happy to report that finally the hockey rink damage has been repaired and it is open and available for use. Sadly, I have to report that we did not receive the EPA National Brownfields Program grant that we applied for this past winter. As you may recall, that was a $300,000 national grant. There were over 300 applicants and only 151, I believe, were awarded the grant. So I would definitely like to take another shot at it when the fiscal year 2020 grant application cycle becomes available. We are having our pre-construction meeting tomorrow with our engineers for Phillips Road. That's ARH, as well as the paving company that was awarded the contract, Aerowac, and all other interested agencies to review the Phillips Road reconstruction. And they are slated to begin the week of July 8th. And Aerowac will be distributing notifications to the residents on Phillips Road at least 7 days prior to the paving. And we'll also have some message boards up on either end, letting all the motorists know that construction is beginning. And I also learned recently that we're actually eligible to apply for 2 New Jersey Department of Transportation municipal aid grants. We've only been applying for 1 each year, but it was brought to my attention that we can actually apply for 2. And as you may recall, last meeting, I had, let you know that I was going to ask for your authorization to move forward on a specific project, most likely Arc Road. I would like to request you to authorize me to begin grant work on actually doing a Phase 2 grant request with DOT for Bancroft Road. So the Bancroft Road project, the engineer's estimate was actually $520,000. The grant that we received fiscal year 2019, which you just authorized the Chapter 159 for tonight, that's only for $250,000. So in essence, the plan was to defer the actual project to next year to put in the budget the remaining balance. in addition to the 50,000 that you guys authorized this year in capital for the stormwater portion of it. We still have a balance, a significant balance. So there is an opportunity for us to apply to DOT for the second part of the Bancroft Road project and request a, melding of the two grant applications so that we could bid that out as one project. So I would like to request authorization to move forward on that as the primary fiscal year 20 grant application, as well as a second grant application, and that would be for Arc Road. And that's based on the street scan pavement index report. That was one of the main roads that needed reconstruction. It's very similar project, cut and dry, just like Phillips Road. It's over 3,000 linear feet. That was $288,000 is the estimation of that. So I wanted to put in a second application for Arc Road as well. So I'm requesting authorization to move forward on both of those items tonight. The grant itself is not due until July 19th, so you will have an opportunity to formally authorize the submission at the July meeting.
You need a motion tonight, or do you?
I don't know that it's necessarily a motion as opposed to an authorization for me to move forward on the application. The formal motion, I think, would be the grant submission itself at the July meeting.
I think we're all in agreement, so.
Yes.
Get us the
Okay,
money. I
awesome.
like it.
Also, the Hainesport Road project, I am learning so much about roads, I just want to let you know that. I just submitted a RFP to our 3 engineers for an engineer's estimate as well as a cost for the engineer work for Hainesport's calendar year 2019 road program. So we should be getting those in June 21st, and I will have something for you at the July meeting as well, so that we can move forward on the local road program. And that is it. Thank you.
All right. Any comments from our solicitor?
I have no comments, other than just to say, for those who know me, my name is Jose Calvis. I'm an associate. I work for John. I'm covering him for tonight, and thank you guys for making this an easy one for me.
You're
welcome.
Thank you for being here. Okay, comments from our committee, starting from our stream, right? Ted?
Everyone seemed to have a great time at the Hainesport Day. I know I did, and I even got to play my guitar a little bit, and maybe some of you sang with me, and it was fun. Thanks. Enjoy the July 4th.
Thank you, Ted. Leland?
Well, just to thank those that came for coming. And also a big thank you to the Recreation Department and Public Works for Hainesport Day, along with all the vendors that participated and all the businesses that made donations. It was a fabulous day. I think everybody had a good time, and Mr. Klaus got a little wet.
It was fun.
And then there was the cutting of the ribbon for the new gazebo, which was exciting. It's a beautiful project that is yet to be finished, but I'm hoping that it will finish shortly. We also got to thank a scout, an Eagle Scout, for his efforts in putting the new kiosk over here for information. And I believe he's here today. Thank you, Stephen. It was a great big picture. Great job. And all the scouts that I've met, recently we've got so many locally that it's just mind-boggling. It's what a great group of kids. I attended a meeting with the freeholders regarding their road master plan the other day, and by doing so, I met up with somebody that hopefully will be able to give Paula and I a better insight as to why one of the intersections in Hainesport doesn't work as properly as we think it should. So that meeting should be coming up shortly.
Say which one?
Fostertown Road and Route 38. So we should be meeting him on site and getting some insight into that. Next Monday, Paul and I will be attending a Burlington County redevelopment roundtable, where we'll be talking to some people with regards to marketing Hainesport. The senior citizens are having their meeting on the 13th for crafts, and on the 27th, they're having lunch in their regular meeting, and they encourage anyone interested to please come by. The Ladies Auxiliary had a great bingo. Anybody that was there had a fabulous time. I hear they made, it was a great success. I don't know what the final figure was, but it was a good time, and they intend on making it an annual event. Excuse me. I know we gave to the fire department. We supported them again this year with their funding, and I can't thank them enough for what they do. But I would be remiss without thanking the EMTs, who once again came to the aid of one of my relatives. And this town is so fortunate to have them. And anybody that wishes to volunteer to be on the EMT squad, it would be greatly appreciated. They're aging out and they need more volunteers. Maybe some of those Eagle Scouts would be interested. Anyway, thank you again for coming.
Lee?
Yes, so thanks to everyone who helped and participated in Hainesport Day, the staff, the employees, the firehouse, the EMTs, just everyone who made it special and fun on that beautiful day. So that was great. I want to just give you guys a heads up. On the 26th, we're having another blood drive at the firehouse. And so mark that on your calendars. And I didn't know this, but after a certain time, you have to make an appointment. So what time is that? What time? So they take walk-ins until a certain time, and then you have to have an appointment, right?
You can go walk in any time.
I tried, and they said after
If you're close to the end, they won't take.
I had like an hour left. I was like, so just so you know. And then last thing, thank you everyone for coming out tonight and spending your time with us. It's always appreciated.
Jerry?
Okay, first of all, Katie, I'm so happy you have this concern. We all have this concern about commercial properties. Leela and I are both on economic development, and we meet with people when they request, and there's a lot of interest in commercial properties coming to Hainesport. A lot of them are in negotiations. We really can't talk about that. And it's been brought up in our meetings about a restaurant that has a liquor license, so please, believe me, it's on top of our agenda. Okay, it really is. Second of all, the blood drive, which has been mentioned, that's at the municipal building. Community Day was great. We have such a great crew that works here. And I got to tell you, I was in the dunk tank. I had no idea Paula can throw a softball that hard. I think she knocked me in 3 times. I'm going to tell you. It was really a fun time. And luckily, it was warm out, because the dunk tank could have been cold.
It's awesome.
You know? Okay, Concerts in the Park is starting. There is 6 events starting July 7th. They're all sponsored by people they're all by companies that the township uses, so they're paying back to our township, which is excellent. Come enjoy yourself. It's a good time. And we have a new restaurant opening tomorrow, Tavern and Table. It's great. Get in there, try it out. I hear the food is spectacular. So that's the grand openings tomorrow, and I'm so happy because they worked so close with the town to put this together. On another note, I'm on the Coastal Coalition, which is actually part of the Burlington County Riverfront Communities. I represent our town, which we're working toward getting state funding to stop erosion conditions on our creek. So that's something I was at on the 27th. Ironically, it was a bad thunderstorm, and here we are talking about flooding and erosion that night. But, so I'll give you updates on how that's going so we can get our creek, basically funded to have most of the erosion repairs done. And I think that's it. Everybody, I had a good time, so.
Okay. I just want to thank everyone who showed up on our Memorial Day celebration and for Community Day, and to thank all of our workers here that helped make both of those events a success, and thank you all for coming tonight. See you next month. Well,
We gotta pay
just
the
yet,
bills.
we still got to pay our bills. So is there a motion to pay the bills?
So moved. Second.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. There is no closed session tonight, so is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Costa?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mayor Mashaki?
Yes. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Ooh.